Welcome to Quilting on the Side, the podcast where we uncover the secrets to turning your passion for quilting into a profitable side hustle.
I'm Tori from the Quilt Patch by Tori.
And I'm Andi from True Blue Quilts. And together, we're your co-hosts on this exciting journey of creativity, entrepreneurship, and all things quilting.
We're here to help you navigate the world of quilt pattern design, course creation, digital marketing, and running an online quilt business. We've been through the ups and downs ourselves, so we know what it takes to make money from your favorite hobby.
That's right, Tori. We're going to share our experiences on how we've grown our businesses while balancing family with other paying work responsibilities. It's not always easy, but it's definitely possible. Welcome back to another episode of Quilting on the Side, and we have a great sponsor. This episode is the Digital Marketing Magic Community, hosted by our very own Tori, and I will let her tell you all about that. But if you are a business owner looking for some support in the digital marketing space, she is your gal, and she will come back a little bit later. But I want to introduce our guest, a return guest on our podcast. This is the lovely Dara Tomasson, who is known as the life coach for quilters. So I'll just let you tell us what you're doing these days, Dara.
Yes. Oh, it's so nice to be back. I love you ladies so much. It was so fun to be able to hang out with you in person in Arizona and the Modern Quilt Guild. That was so fun. So I help women get to the root of why they keep banging their heads against the wall. Yep. So it's like you wake up in the morning, you're pretty excited. You're like, yeah, today's the day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to conquer. And then by 2:30, you find yourself putting chocolate chips in your mouth and scrolling for the last 47 minutes. And you're like, what's happened? I help untangle all that stuff and give you good strategies that actually help you to create the life that you really want. Whether it's being more productive, whether it's the physical stuff, the relationships, it's having a better quality of life. And it's because you're learning how to be with yourself and not going through that whole shame blame cycle all the time.
Yeah. And I have to, full disclosure, have to tell everybody I am a paid member of Dara's community. Of course, I'm 100% all in. I think she's the best and everybody should come join us. But I do want to say that I've been a member of the community for about a year, and it was Love Yourself Thin. It was marketed primarily as weight loss, but of course you get all these other benefits as you start digging into your mindset and things. So can you talk about that pivot?
It's actually called Love Yourself Thin still. So let me just talk about why I did kind of play around with changing the name a little bit. But, I got to tell you, weight loss is a really big stumbling block for most of us. Look at us right now. We're on a Zoom call. We're looking at our faces. We're seeing that, and we have a really critical eye. We're very, very mean to ourselves. And so what I like to say is love yourself thin, where weight loss is never about the food. One of the things that's really challenging, especially in social media, and Tori, you know all about this, it's saying things that aren't very popular. And so there's people who will body shame and they will say what's wrong with you. But I have to tell you, weight loss is just a symptom of a bigger picture. And so when we can do the mindset work, like body regulation or emotional regulation, then it actually solves a real problem. Because the issue is, if you are struggling being overweight, you don't have the same energy, and it does impact your health overall. So I'm kind of one of those people that says, you know what, we got to just kind of talk about the real problem and let's stop skirting around it. And I don't do it in a mean way or a pointing finger way. It's like, hey, I get it. I struggled with my weight for a long time. I made it mean all sorts of things about myself, like that I wasn't good enough. And so now I have an alternative for people, because it's not about going on a diet. It's not about counting calories or tracking steps. We all know what to do. We just don't have coping strategies. We don't know how to actually figure it all out, because when we were sad, what were we taught to do? Here's a sucker, right? Or go to your room.
Let's go to Dairy Queen.
Yeah, let's go to Dairy Queen. I'll make you some chocolate chip cookies. Because the problem is, whether it's like weight, the food that you go to, or drinking, or over shopping, or over people pleasing, or over undersleeping, or overworking, I mean, eventually it catches up to you and then you just completely burn out. So I don't want us to be burned out. I want us to be having fun playing and building businesses and making quilts and contributing to the world instead of hiding with shame because you're not wearing a size 6. Come on, let's really live our lives.
Now, I have to say, and Andi didn't know this, but I recently also joined Dara's program. I haven't been active yet. It's been kind of a whirlwind, but I'm really excited. And I love what you talk about, Dara, the way you talk about it. And just knowing that I'm part of this program and have this to lean on when I am able to get in, it brings me so much peace of mind.
Yes. Yeah,
I love
it. Totally. I love it.
So I was thinking as I was running around doing my stuff today that you really identify the 4 possibilities when we have a thought. And I thought that would be really useful to share with other people because I know a lot of us will avoid, and that's where we find the food as a comfort. But can you run down that list for us?
So are we talking about when there's like a problem, we avoid, resist, react instead of just accepting what's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's just take an example recently where you're just like, I don't want to deal with that. Do you want to just give me an example?
I got one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bookkeeping.
Okay. Give me a little thought download of what's so hard about bookkeeping.
I don't know how to make the time to record everything. And I am almost afraid to see the comparison between expenses and revenue and profit. I'm open to sharing that because I think a lot of people can identify with that.
Totally. I love that so much. One of the tools that I have inside the membership is called Math versus Drama. So you can see there's a lot of drama. It's like, I don't think I can know how to make the time. What really is behind it is I might not be making as much money as I want to be. And so if I find that out, then I have to even double up the shame or even feel worse about myself. And so it's just better to not know. And that's such a silly story we tell ourselves. And I'm going to give you an example. So we're talking about kids today. We're talking about like how we build a business and with all that. So how many times have you, or you yourself, your personal experience with when your mom has said, or dad or someone said, please go clean your room? You're like, I don't want to. It's so hard. It is ridiculous. I don't have the right dresser. So some of us just complain about it. Some of us research all the different ways to clean our room. Some of us go and get a toothbrush and we micro clean and we get completely fixated. And so we can, yeah, totally. So we all have our different strategies. Some of us lay under our bed and whine and cry. So this is what's happening in our brain. We all have different coping strategies. Avoid means you distract yourself. React means you can kind of fight. You can be mad. You can bring up a whole thing of like, remember when you told me to clean my room and it wasn't fair because my brother didn't have to. So we're getting into that fight mode. And think about our nervous system, right? Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Or the people pleasing of like, oh, I need to clean my room right now. And if I don't clean my room, my mom will hate me and I have to do it perfectly. And if I don't do it perfectly, then she's going to kick me out. Then I'm going to live on the road of the bag lady. So our brains are always trying to keep us safe. And you know what, Tori? I'm really proud of you for having a business. And it's a little bit scary because, we might not be making as much money, which might mean that we'd have to feel embarrassed, or we might have to feel ashamed, or we might even have to do something a little different. But that's okay, honey. I got you. I get it. That's scary. Just like cleaning our room isn't always the favorite thing. But we'll see what happens when you just accept it. It's like, yeah, it's scary. Yeah, I get it. But we're just going to figure it out. And we don't have to figure it out right away. How does that feel?
It makes me feel better. Yeah, it's scary. But the thing that follows it is, it's scary, but I can do it.
Actually, the truth is, I actually want to know how much money I'm making or how much money I'm not making. Recently, I spent some time actually with ChatGPT because I have my web person, so she does all the updates and everything. And so I was going through my budget of my expenses in my business, and I was like, what are some expenses that I could pare down? So I told me these are the most common prices for maintenance people. And so then I messaged her and I said, hey, I don't want to be disrespectful, but chat told me that these two other companies would charge me X amount, $200 a month. Would you be open to doing that? And she said, absolutely, no problem. So I was like, cool. Right? And I was kind of uncomfortable because I don't want to feel like I don't appreciate you. But if I could save $79 a month, I want to save $79 a month. Because guess how much money it cost me to go to Costco?
Probably $79 at least.
It's like between $500 to $700 a month, a week. It's craziness. And I'm going to have 4 kids at home. And my youngest, he just turned 13 yesterday, and he's 6 feet tall. He's as tall as me. And they play a lot of basketball.
Those boys, I was like, they eat a lot.
Oh, and my adult son is coming home and he's window washing. Anyways, even buying all the healthy stuff, prices have gone up like crazy. And so, Tori, I want you to think about, by you creating the Tori system, how could this help you in your business, build your confidence as a business owner?
Understanding my bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
I would know which offers are bringing in more money,
Mm-hmm.
and I would know which to invest more time in.
Yeah, follow the money, girl.
Yeah. And that was probably my favorite part about doing taxes. I noticed that my income tripled last year, and I was like,
Yeah. When I paid my income tax last year and I walked in the bank and I slapped down a lot of money, I remember thinking, I'm a boss. I'm like a boss. Like, who can do that? Who can walk in the bank and put down, and a lot of money is very relative to all sorts of people. But it was like, and I just paid cash and I was like, boom. And actually one of the bank managers came over and was like, what kind of business are you? You're a life coach? What do you do? And he got my name and number. He's like, I'm going to give your name to people. Because he just saw that excitement and that ownership. It's like not that many people are excited to go pay a big tax bill, right? But he saw what a different attitude I had. And so this is all optional, right? We have the option to resist, react, to avoid, or we can just be like, accept. Hey, guess what? I'm a business owner. I can learn about tax credits and I can learn about all sorts of things because I'm an amazing business owner and I help people. And the more I understand how my business works, the more I can help people because I can follow the money. I don't have to worry about it. Crazy. It's amazing. This is wild. Why didn't I think of this before?
Right? What took us so long to get this smart?
That's okay. But as you know, your nervous system, avoid, react, resist, right? Like fight, flight, freeze. And so if we're hearing, oh, girls shouldn't make so much money, or, who are you to think that? You've got kids, they need running shoes, you're spending it on yourself. My dad still to this day, I will tell him, I'm going to, this thing. He's like, well, how are the boys going to eat? I was like, I'm going to have groceries in the house, Dad, and they're going to make food for themselves. It's amazing. They know how to make rice and eggs and meat. They know how to do all of it. I'm such a good mom.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue into the question we prepped Dara for, because it's been on both Tori and I's mind this year, kind of, is balancing that idea of mom as a caretaker with our own desires to pour into our business and guilt over time away. I shared before we came on air that I'm going on a retreat. And I'm super excited about that, but that's a weekend away from my family. And when I back up the retreat, which is fulfilling to me, with the other weekends that I'm away teaching, it adds up to so much time away that I start feeling guilty. But I have another job. This is the side hustle reality. So it's, there's a lot to juggle there, and dealing with those feelings of guilt that I should be over here, but I want to be over there, and somebody's missing out somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And the problem is you're usually the one who's missing out. So there's a couple of parts to this. So the first one is, this is really, really helpful. Number one is guilt is always coming from our thoughts. It's not just automatic. So there's a couple of things about guilt. So first of all, our thoughts create all of our feelings. Okay. So we can just decide if we're going to feel guilty or not. And actually, if we do feel guilty, and that's a valid reason, we can actually say, I wonder why I feel guilty. I wonder if I have this manual that I haven't questioned. And so I just think that I'm supposed to always be around all the time. Is that even true? Is that even helpful? So maybe actually it's good for me not to always be home. Maybe it's good for them to know, hey, when mom's gone, there's some things that are actually more fun. Actually, I'm a really fun mom, but there's some more things that are more fun without mom. Or even today, where our one car is being repaired. and my daughter had to take the car to work. And in the whole, I have to be this person driving everything, I forgot that my husband was not going to be able to pick up my son from school, which quite often he can. So then my son was like, how am I getting home? I was like, I actually don't know. I'm like, you could take a bus. You could ask Mrs. Creed. You could do this. You could do that. And he's like, I have like 1% left on my phone. And I'm like, I'm sorry, honey. It took him an hour and 20 minutes to walk home. I was like, sorry, we didn't quite calculate that one. Hey, buddy. He's like, nope, we didn't. And it was like, okay, you got in a good walk. He's like, it's like I went to Westwood, like the walk that I like to do. I was like, yeah, doesn't that feel good to walk? So I could choose to feel guilty that I didn't think of that. Or I could be like, this is called problem solving. And sometimes, and like we think about things, sometimes we don't. It's no big deal. Okay. So, number one, our feelings always come from our emotions. Number two, we get to decide if we want to feel that. Number three is we can say, okay, is that a valid emotion? If it is, do I want to keep it? Do I want to change it? Is there anything I can do about it? Now, number four is really interesting about guilt in particular. So there's a lot of traditions of ancient medicine that talks about our bodies. Okay, so there's the famous book, like The Body Keeps the Score. There's a lot of information about if we're not feeling our feelings, we have like fibromyalgia, like all those kinds of autoimmune, like there's lots of stuff out there on this. But it is commonly believed that guilt is held in our lower belly where our ovaries are. Okay, so our ovaries are literally where we create life, creative, being creative. And so if we are feeling guilty, that's where we feel it mostly. And the thing that's interesting about it is guilt is either you deny yourself a feeling or you have two conflicting emotions. So it's like, I love my life, but I want more. That feels really conflicting, right? So it's like, I love my children. I want to be with them. I love my family. I want to be with them, but I actually want to do stuff for myself. So that feels really conflicting, but really it's just like, that's okay. It's okay to feel that way. That's like a natural thing. So our body will slow down and we'll think about it and be like, is this something that is actually true or not? Is this going to create the kind of relationships that I want? And as you said, Andi, it's like when I go to a quilting retreat and I can just be with my people and I can just let myself be creative, I'm actually a better mom and a wife because I'm more fulfilled. Cool, right? Same thing with you, Tori. It's like, when you get a system, like a money tracking system, and it just starts becoming automatic, and it's just like, I'm the boss, I'm amazing business owner, and I know exactly how much money I have in my bank, I know how to follow the money, like that's freedom. So I think that's an interesting thing that we can really look at because we want to create. It's very innate in us. So that's okay that guilt is going to come along with it, but we can just be observant and say, yeah, that makes sense.
I could listen to you talk about this all day.
I love what you say about we get to decide, because more people need to hear that and really truly embrace it. You are deciding. It's not these outside forces. We are not the victim in some drama, can decide. And the few times that I've been really upset and I take a moment to breathe and actually follow that advice, it is amazing the transformation that you feel, how you can get out of that raw emotion, whether it's anger or, hysterics, whatever it looks like. But you're like, oh, wait, I actually don't want to be this nasty feeling emotional person. Okay, so let's be the rational version.
So I'll give you a quick example. So my husband and I have 5 kids together, and they're 10 years apart. And I was a stay-at-home mom for quite a while. After my 3rd child was born, I was like, okay, I'm not going back teaching. And my husband would come home sometimes from work and he'd say, wow, this house is a mess. And I'm like, I know, man, playing with these kids and doing stuff with these kids, it can get really messy. But we sure had fun today. And then he'd say things like, it's a bummer that this house isn't cleaned itself. I'm like, what's the point of arguing with him? I agree. It's like, it is kind of messy. Yeah. But guess what we can do? We can do the Zamboni thing. We can just like clean through. We can do the timer for 5 minutes. We can start singing the cleanup song and we can get it all clean in a very short time, right? So when you just let yourself be a human and know that, I'm a creative person. I'm going to make a mess in my studio. And I'm also going to make messes with what I'm doing. Like, I'm going to cut the block too small. Might have to remake it. I might have to go back to the store and buy some more fabric. I'm going to make mistakes. It's okay. That's just the price of being a super awesome creative person. No big deal.
Yeah. Well, this has been fantastic recap. And as Tori said, we could go on and on and come up with all sorts of different scenarios and work through them because Dara's such an awesome coach. So we want to move into our rapid fire questions because those are always so much fun. But before we do that, Tori, tell us about your DMMC.
So the DMMC, the Digital Marketing Magic Coaching, is all about helping you figure out a system for your digital marketing so it saves you time and energy and you can get back to being creative, which I think really matches our theme today. So we went ahead and had the DMMC sponsor our episode today, and it's open currently. I'm trying this evergreen open thing and you can join anytime.
And where can they find that, Tori?
You can find it at thequiltpatchbytori.com/DMMC.
Yeah, it's lots of good information about digital marketing and setting up launches and offers and all that good stuff. And you get coached by Tori, so that's always a good thing. But we want to get back to our fabulous guest, Dara, and we always start out with the color question. What color do you struggle to use in your projects?
Oh, yeah, purple. That's a question I'm probably always going to have that answer.
Which I am laughing because so many people enjoy purple and love it. And, different strokes for different folks. It all works. So
do you prefer yardage or pre-cuts?
Oh, yardage.
I do have to say, Dara, that you were such a hit at QuiltCon walking around because you rescue quilts and turn them into fabulous attire.
I do. It's so fun.
That's amazing. Next question. What is your favorite quilting notion?
Well, can you say your long arm?
Absolutely.
And who is inspiring you right now? And they don't have to be in the quilting industry.
That's a great question. Well, I feel like I was just listening to a podcast before this, but I think that my kids are really inspiring me. I have to say, like when I was preparing for this podcast and you were talking about that, I have 3 adult kids now. I have an 18-year-old who's in Africa. I have a 20-year-old who just got back from Tahiti. And I have a 22-year-old that just been finishing his second year. And I might just get a little weepy. But you talked about why run a business. And I don't always remember the things I say to my kids, but they remember certain things. And then they remind me of the things that I've said. And my son just won an award, an entrepreneurial reward. And so he went for it. Actually, my Facebook friends, they helped vote him so that he could go to the next level. And he went to the next level and he did this big presentation on the stage. And he said, because I had told him about QuiltCon actually, Andi, and I said, I couldn't believe it. Like people were just stopping me everywhere I went. Like I said, I've never felt so popular. It was so fun. And he goes to this on the stage and he presents and there's a whole panel. And afterwards he said, Mom, I was so popular. People just wanted to talk to me. He's like, I was like you. And he's like, I don't know why people would watch TV on a Friday night. He's like, there are so many things that we can do to improve our lives. And there's so many ways that we can help people and that we can change and really make a difference in this world. And I was like, what is even happening? This is so amazing. Even with your business, wherever you are in your business, a lot of times our brain will say it's not enough. You're not where you want to be. You haven't been as successful as you want to be. And the problem is when you're focusing on that negative, you never let yourself celebrate all that good. Eventually, as you keep showing up to your business or keep talking to your kids or your family or your people around you or the digital marketing or whatever that is, you just have to keep putting out that goodness and it will eventually come back. And if we can just let ourselves be in the wonder and awe of it all, and of course there's going to be the negative. It's fine. It's there, right? But we also have to let ourselves celebrate all the good. I would just say, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel disappointed in your business. But the more that you can be equal in both parts, the more we can step into our...
You got me crying.
Yeah.
I celebrate the tears.
Yeah.
Because you're finally letting yourself feel emotions. So good.
Our last question, what is the most rewarding part of your business?
Oh my gosh, Andi. I mean, you come to the calls. You see what's happening. If I feel discouraged or if I'm feeling like things aren't going so in my business, I'll say, are you kidding me, Dara? I get to help so-and-so with this thing. She never actually felt loved by her husband, and now she does. They were married for 50 some years, and they are like newlyweds again. I get to be a part of that? That's amazing. So I think for my own marriage, for my own relationship with my kids, of course, I didn't realize how amazing that could be. But then just to be able to help these other women. And it's fun because there's one lady, I'll just give it a little example. She lives on the mainland in Vancouver. And so sometimes when we go for basketball tournaments or something, she's like, oh, you can sleep over. And the kids, they had a couple-day tournament last summer, and I actually had the 4 boys. They had us, and it's so cute. Like they're like our grandparents. And her husband woke up early and made the most amazing breakfasts. And I just think we're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to wander. And so of course I give her lots of value, but my kids are seeing her life changing and being like, my mom is part of that. I mean, she does the work. I don't do it for her. Even this morning I was driving my son to school, and he's like, Mom, like, do you still work with her? Like, she comes to the calls. And I said, yeah, because she's lost 80 pounds. And he's like, so do you do other stuff? And I'm like, yeah, we do all sorts of cool stuff, like relationship with her siblings, with her husband. And he's like, Mom, that's kind of cool. Hey, I was like, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. Well, thank you again, Dara, for joining us for a conversation. It's always nice to get your perspective on some of these mindset things as we balance all of our creative pursuits. Tell people where they can find you.
They can find me at Dara_Tomasson, TOMASSON on Instagram. I'm hosting the Quilters Life Summit.
Yes.
So please come to that. It's going to be amazing. There's 38 presenters. I'm going to be doing some really cool classes on perfectionism, on overconsuming, and menopause. April 30th, May 1st and 2nd. There's going to be a great workbook that will go along with it. We're going to work through fears and challenges and difficulties as you get inspired by all these different quilters. So that's going to be really, really fun. You can also find me on YouTube, Dara Tomasson, and I have a great website as well.
Okay. And people can, of course, find things in the show notes for this podcast. Thanks for listening. And let's count it down, ladies. Do a little quilting on the side. What a great discussion. If you enjoyed this episode of Quilting on the Side, please leave us a review on whichever platform you're listening. It can be iTunes, Spotify, or even our YouTube channel.
And hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our next chat. Until then, remember to have fun in your business and do a little quilting on the side.